Hello everyone, I am Muhaini and you're watching another episode of Happy with Experts. I'm sure everyone is going to love today's topic since it is a main concern for most parents, including myself, the importance of eating a balanced diet for children. Or in a more simplified way, is my kid eating enough nutrition? Without further ado, let's start the discussion as we welcome our expert for today, Rozanna, a dietitian at AVISENA Women and Children's Specialist Hospital. Welcome, Rozanna, to our show.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm Rozanna, the clinical dietitian here at AVISENA Women and Children's Specialist Hospital. Let's talk a bit about myself. I am a twin myself. I was born small gestational age, twins. So coming in from experience of a twin, experience with feeding difficulties, and the importance of nutrition from the infancy, and then toddlers, we saw tiny twins, tiny teens, and I have been a dietitian since 2000. And I specialize mainly now in pediatrics, and I'm one of the expert panel for the identification and management of feeding difficulty in children in Malaysia. So we're part of doing the guidelines, we publish papers, we do lots of surveys. So it's important to have the right messages, right, Mui, with evidence, but what's practical also. It's not only looking at the theory part, because with children it's always a challenge.
Yes, I mean I'm facing the same problem with my own son. So I guess this is definitely a good topic for parents out there. So first thing first, let's educate parents so that they can help their children understand the role of sugar and fats in their diet. And most importantly, how to teach our children to limit their intake of unhealthy foods. What are your thoughts? Rozanna, before you answer, I have to say I'm guilty. I'm guilty of this too, as an adult. So I guess your answer will be for both adults and also children.
I think there are roles of fats in the diet, because we do need fats, healthy fats, for the brain to develop, healthy fats for absorption of nutrients. So like the A, D, E, K, we say relies on the fats for absorption, vitamin A, vitamin D, then you have the calcium that binds with vitamin D, and the E and the K, all these binds together with the fats. With sugar, it's for taste. It is more aesthetic. It is more enhancing a particular food or drink.
Yes.
So the role in our diet will be just that. So if too much of anything is not good, whether it's too much fats or too much sugar. So I think as parents, role modeling is good. Nothing in too much. When I say too much, I think if your child
in moderation.
If your child is hyperactive, we have to look at reducing hidden. We call it hidden sugars, meaning added sugars. They are natural sugars, right? Natural sugars in milk, lactose, glucose. There's natural sugars in in our carbohydrates. Yes. There are also natural sugars in fruits, fructose, glucose. Yes. So added sugar means things that are added, things like sugar added into beverages, sugar added into fruit juices to make it sweeter. Sugar that we add into say some cereals as coated with lots of sugar. Candy, example, sugary drinks, for example. So those are the things that we can have a bit of, but not too much of, because a child is like a blank canvas. Their taste depends on the mother. The mother is actually controlling what the child actually eats. Start breastfeeding at 6 months. You need to try. They don't know what is sour. They don't know what is salty. They don't know what is bitter. So you need to expose to as many flavors as you can at that age group. Even studies have shown that the mother's diet influences the taste of her milk. So the child grows up with that first. So the preference starts there. Not the salt, not the sweet starts from there. So at 6 months, if you were to give everything, bitter vegetables, sour fruits, the child will not know that, oh, fruits should be sweet. Cereals need to have coated. Because you start from the young. So when you start from the young, the pickiness risk will be less, Mui.
So, Rozanna, from my understanding, you're trying to basically tell us that children actually emulate their parents' eating behavior.
Of
Did I
course.
get that right?
Of course, because they're part of your genes.
Okay, so let's go to the next question. How can we help children understand the importance of portion control and teach them how to recognize when they are full? Because as you can see lately, I mean, I think statistics have shown that there are a lot of kids these days who are obese. And I think this is all due to portion control. So what are your
My thoughts? I think in the statistics that came out in 2019, the Health and Morbidity Survey, the part that was the maternal and children's statistics, it showed that we actually had dual, we call it dual malnutrition, which is stunting and wasting, and overweight and obesity. So there's the two. So back to if you're born small, we give good nutrition, we call it a bell curve. The wrong nutrition, you might have a child that's overweight. So the nutrient density, the balance is important. It's not only portion, it's what you eat to give you that balance. Yes, so it's very, very important. So that is why I always, when you give your child food, we look at sectional plate. It's not about suku separo for adults,
right,
but it's understanding, okay, this part is giving you this part, okay, the vegetables and fruit, what are the functions? So when you teach your kids the functionality, okay, you're falling ill a lot because you're not eating your fruits and vegetables every day. Oh, but I'm tired because you're not eating enough of the energy foods, you know? See, your nails are, easily breaking. Maybe you're not eating the protein foods. Example, oh, you're not growing tall like your schoolmates. Yeah. It's because you're not drinking your milk properly. So you relate back to what they understand.
Well, this is definitely a good way to encourage your children to try different foods, new foods, explore different cuisines.
Correct.
So I think parents have to be creative.
Very much.
So that they can deliver the message to their children.
Because you're the first source of information. So they will ask, Mommy, why is it right? When you pick up your son, they're like, Mommy, they tell you the story and they're like, why is this, Mommy? And you're expected to know, even though you don't know. Even the teachers are a source of information. Yeah. Grandparents, teachers, people they buy their food from, the vendors can be. Everybody in our life, the environment, makes the child who they are.
Okay, but I'm sure some parents, they've tried all this method, and it's not working, and obviously they come to you.
Yeah, yes.
And the most common question is how to deal with children who are picky eaters.
Yeah, that's the most, I would say, challenging, even as a dietitian. And then with the mother, example of pickiness that in my practice would be a child only taking milk and cookies. A child eats white rice alone. A child does not mix textures. Yeah, something about not mixing textures. Or a child like drinking milk in a bottle and they are already 8 years old. So yes. Or a child only likes spaghetti but not others, example. Yeah. So pickiness vary. Again, it starts back from the 6 months of age. The exposure,
Yeah.
exposure, exposure, exposure. Because it's shown that about 45 and above exposures for the child even to touch. Because nowadays, it's the Asian culture that the child is not able to touch. Is messy. It's messy. We are not meant to waste food. Yeah, we grow up that way, right? You have to finish the food first, right?
Yes.
Finish the food. You're not supposed to be a messy child. You can't eat messy. So you're spoon fed. So the child is not experimenting, not be able to look at, okay, touching and things like that. So that also will help reduce pickiness and fussiness when they're able to see. Because when we start off blending, so when you look at nowadays, they look at the baby-led weaning concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong between the baby-led or the spoon-fed, but I would believe in the mixture. Baby-led is more of the child participating in the whole eating journey.
Now we will proceed to the next segment, Q&As from our mummies. So the first question we have from one of our followers. My daughter wasn't a picky eater last time, but as she grew older, she only eats certain food and it has to be at the same time every time.
It's quite common actually. Picky already means picky. So they pick the time, pick the food, pick the place. So I think it needs, if you want to introduce my take on this to reduce the pickiness, you want to try new things, it needs to be another environment. It's like if she doesn't take vegetables at dinner time with you, you need to introduce vegetables when you go out, example. When there's other children eating it, example. So it's not her norm that you want to introduce. Yes? So you're like looking at, she's role modeling other kids. Don't say, see, that child, no, you don't compare. But like, okay, so the child will see, oh, they're eating because it's a norm. Yeah? So when you look at the time and the place and all that, it's probably home or somewhere that it's quite habitual, you know.
Okay, but then Rozanna, you know, children, when they're young, they live with the parents. So they will, it's like you say, it's a habitual thing. They observe what the parents eat.
Correct.
And then they will emulate. But you know, as they grow older, they go to school and they make friends and they start having meals with friends. And obviously some will be influenced with, you know, what their friends eat.
Yes, correct.
So this is where the problem lies.
So
you know?
sometimes you're home, you're clean eating, example, and
Yes.
your other friends have all the processed food. Sometimes things like sausages, things like nuggets, and things so forth. So I would probably look at introducing minimal of that, but telling them this. So they're not totally shocked, never have tasted that before.
Okay, next question, Rozanna. I'm sure this one, all the parents out there, including me, we want to know the answer. Junk food. The question is about junk food. Is it okay to probably introduce, expose, I wouldn't say introduce, expose kids to eating junk food?
I think it needs to start from what age, right? So probably you start them at a slightly later age. Junk food could mean anything from fast food, instant noodles, potato chips. We grew up with all sorts of snacks that we buy because of the gift.
Yes.
You get some sticker lah, some toys. So perhaps I think you expose, limit. You buy things that are small portions, or when you buy the bigger one, everybody is portioned into something. But my take on it would be not too much of the coloring, because it worries when they eat, some things that's too blue. There are things too blue, too red in the mouth, too green. The fingers are all very yellow after that. So probably
So anything that has coloring is
too
not
much
good.
of it. Too much of the
good.
coloring, too much salt.
What would you say the frequency of, giving your child, exposing your child to junk food?
Well, I wouldn't say there's a lot of, there should be a frequency. Probably once a week would be safe.
Once a week?
Once
Safe?
a
Okay.
week portion. I think it would be harmless, but probably not finishing the whole a bag of something together.
Bag of Doritos or
yeah,
Chickies,
yeah, something like that.
So we're going to go to our next question. This is actually a common problem because I know a lot of people around me, my friends, my relatives, you know, they always say, anak saya ni tak suka makan sayur. Sayur. But fruits is not a problem. Fruits is not a problem because I guess fruits, you know, they taste really nice. Vegetable usually they taste bitter or they don't taste like anything. So the question is, can I replace vegetables with fruits to balance out my child's diet?
Okay, I get the not eating vegetables a lot in my daily practice, I would say. Even some adults, I would say, don't eat vegetables, you know. I'm not guilty of it. My mom sort of put vegetables since we were young. Because fruits and vegetables have their own variety of minerals and vitamins. You can have only fruit, but you might be lacking in other minerals and vitamins that vegetables provide. Some of the antioxidants, the flavonoids, some of the carotenoids, because it varies between the two. They both are fiber foods, which helps digestion and things like that. So maybe with back to the vegetables, it has to be a creative way of sort of introducing the vegetables. Maybe I have tried tempura vegetables. I have tried to make it chuchu out of it. I'm doing recipes on to put it into pancakes, and put it into muffins, to put it into soups, perhaps, that they cannot see. Maybe because vegetables are a lot of color. It doesn't have to be just the green ones.
So in other words, what you're trying to say is, nope, you cannot replace vegetables and fruits. You need both.
It's part of it. It's part of our, yes.
Because there's some nutrients that vegetables have.
Yes, like calcium.
Yeah.
Example would be calcium. So some green leafies would have calcium. Some green leafies would have iron. So fruits might not have that. So fruits will have a bit more vitamins. Vegetable might have less vitamins because the fruit has a skin to cover losses of vitamins. Vegetables are quite exposed, but vegetables will have other minerals and vitamins that fruits might not carry. So it's quite important to have the variety. But doesn't mean green only, kan?
Yes.
Vegetables banyak.
You need both, parents. You need both fruits and vegetables. You can't replace one with the other one. We have come to the end of our show. We hope that you've enjoyed the session as much as we did. I encourage all our viewers to think about our discussion today so that the next time you prepare or decide to buy your children's meal, it'll be a good one. Thank you, Rozanna, for all the beneficial tips. You know, it has helped me too, I have to admit.
Thank you so much.
Make sure to follow us and stay tuned for our next episode of Copy with Expert.
Yes, with the expert. Come and see the dietitian.